Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I am Manny Carl, and welcome to another Let's Talk video. Today, we are going to discuss a lot of what I've been seeing talked about over on Reddit and over on the Ubisoft forums, and that is about the new meta. What is going to be the new meta? And a lot of people are afraid that there are going to be new metas out there, and of course there's going to be new metas out there. They fixed the shotguns. Everybody's, yay, they fixed the shotguns. Don't be so happy they fixed the shotguns, because what comes next is going to be the apocalypse of metas, because there's not going to be one, there's not going to be two, there's going to be several, and it's going to create an unbalanced, balanced dark zone, because everybody's going to be running one of these metas. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of the metas, and I don't have any screenshots or anything like this to show you, because a lot of what people are talking about, it's all speculation until 1.5 gets released. Now, the first one is going to be the Alpha Bridge meta, which everybody's saying, you're going to run Famas or whatever, however it's called, the Famas or, whatever. But because of the talents on that gun in particular is going to be a very OP gun for a lot of people to use. But it's really the range on it that really makes that gun a up close and personal weapon to use. If you're using it from a distance, it's not going to work for you as well, because the pride of that gun is the rate of fire and the amount of damage it does up close. You're not going to get a whole lot of use out of it from range. Now, the one thing that I will tell you is that it does have one of the new perks called Uncomplicated, which is that it has 15% more damage when no accuracy or stability mods are used on that weapon. And the 15% is just a base percent. So the more stability and accuracy you have on it, the less that goes down. So it doesn't mean that you can't put any stability or accuracy on it. It just means that the more you put on, the less that perk is going to give you. Now, there are going to be some other things like responsive and destructive that you can use it with, especially for PvP. Now, some people are saying that deadly, vicious, and fierce use it for PvP. No, what you're going to want is you're going to want to keep that uncomplicated. You're going to want to keep, some of the other stuff that boosts that. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to roll with the Alpha Bridge. You're going to want to roll like an LVOA or something to that effect, something that has a high damage output, because you want the perks of the other gun, you want the perks of the Famas, and you want to use your more powerful guns so that you get the benefits of the Famas, but you're not using it, and basically you can swap at range and go for that. Now, that is going to definitely be one of the metas that's going to be used, because right now with the armor, the way it's working in the Dark Zone, you're going to need damage to the armor or armor destruction when you're doing PvP. That's going to be a given, because you're going the way it changed, if they keep it changed that way, that's what you're going to need. You're going to need destructive so that you can go ahead and just cycle through the armor, and with the boost to the percentage to armor damage on the guns already, on the assault rifles already, it's going to be a huge boost for a lot of people. And going into the Dark Zone, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to see, at least I saw on the PTS, I saw a lot of assault rifles in the Dark Zone. Now, this is just one of the metas that's going to be in the Dark Zone, as you can see, and Alpha Bridge will probably be used in PvE as well. It's definitely, when you put the stuff on, when you're using the two assault rifles, and then you have, additional enemy armor damage and protection from elites, you are going to blow through PvE content like nobody's business. It's going to be a very powerful build. It's going to be super awesome. But let's talk about some of the other things, because there are a lot of other builds that I saw in the Dark Zone, and one of the more impressive builds was the one-shot sniper rifle. Now, if you use this build, you probably already know where I'm going with this, but basically what you need is a thumb loading gun, which is basically like when you put in one shell at a time, like the shotgun does. And what I found is that the Model 700 does this, some of the bolt action rifles might do this, shotguns do this, so it works with these builds. Shotguns also work with this, so you can use this as a shotgun build, or you can use the one-shot sniper rifle build. But the one thing that you need is you need the perk Provident. And in the 1.5 patch, you're going to need 4,509 firearms and 4,509 electronics just to get this build working, which means your toughness is going to suffer quite a bit. But what this perk does for this is that the last bullet of the magazine deals 60% more damage, which is huge. That is basically giving you a gigantic boost to your DPS. And the way to do this actually is, a lot of people were running this that I saw, and how they would do it is that you would empty out your clip except for the last bullet. And once you use that last bullet, you would fire it, and then you would automatically start reloading one bullet at a time. And if you interrupted the bullet sequence by, say, doing a melee attack or something like that, it would stop the animation and you would have one bullet. And so basically it became a single magazine bolt action sniper rifle, and it would do a massive amount of damage. Now the one that I have, the M700 that I have, does 299,000 to regular enemies, and it does about 27,000 damage to basically regular agents in the dark zone just by itself without any other modifications. I have it pretty jacked up. But with the 60% more damage, you're looking at anywhere from maybe 50 to 60,000 DPS, and even somewhere you can actually get boost to that where it actually does somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 to an agent. It's an insane amount of damage, and if you're using the right build, you can actually use this with a shotgun. It's the same principle, and if you team it up with the right set, I would say 3 Sentry, 3 Heavens, whatever that one is called. I can't remember it for the life of me right now. We're just doing this off the top of our head. We're just going through this build and just talking about these metas while we're doing it. But there's also, I've ran it with 3 Alpha Bridge because there's a 5% weapon damage increased using the Alpha Bridge 3 set. But it basically works with a 3 and 3 set. It actually works really well when you're using 3 and 3. You can actually use 4 and 2 or something like that. There's a lot of different things. The Banshee set works really well with this because of the boost to enemies out of cover with that, and anything that you can do to boost your weapon damage. Basically all you need is the Provident on it, and then anything that you can do to boost weapon damage. Those are really what's going to be. So what you're going to see is a lot of people putting Provident on their weapons and getting one-shot kills with it, especially headshots. It's going to be a murder spree. You know, the damage that they've taken away from shotguns isn't actually a huge lesser boost. So if you're using Provident on that and you're using this method, sure, you're not going to be able to reload fast enough to outduel somebody who is using, you know, say like a machine gun or something like that. You're going to be jumping around, but you can reload that bullet pretty fast and jump and kind of, you know, interrupt that animation, and you're going to be able to put that bullet in and get a couple shots on them with it. Or even, you know, 2 shots would probably do it with a shotgun. You could probably do it 2 shots with a shotgun because the first one's going to knock them down pretty good, and the second one's going to do the 60% more damage and actually finish them off. That's what I would suggest you do if you're running the shotgun. Do a 2-shot build, and there you go. Plus put, you know, damage for shotgun boosts and stuff like that. You want to use whatever, I can't think of the gear set right now that actually uses the plus damage for shotguns, but use that. Whatever weapon you're using, I would boost the damage, put everything in firearms, put everything, you know, up to 4509 electronics. That way you can activate this. Make sure you're going to the recalibration station and getting Provident on your weapons, because that is what's going to be the meta in the dark zone for you. I'm not kidding. Unless they somehow fix it between now, that when I'm reporting this, to the time at the end when I'm not, you know, when it's there, that is when you are going to see this. And I'm starting to see, you know, videos for this pop up. There's only been one other one that I've seen, and I wasn't going to make a video for, at least not for this, because Upper Echelon Gaming, he has the Provident one-shot mechanic on his thing. He basically calls that it needs to be fixed. I'm saying it doesn't need to be fixed. You know, give them the meta. It's for the dark zone. Put the meta in the dark zone. I'm sure people will be happy to have it in the dark zone and be able to use it. It's going to create more of a balance when you have all of these different gear sets that create that stuff. So that's what I'm just saying. There's going to be a lot more metas that come out than what I'm saying with the amount of gear pieces that come out. There's going to probably be some sort of meta with the shield and machine gun or submachine gun, if you can even imagine that. If you saw my last video, the SMG build that I did with the ballistic shield. It is an amazing build. I actually like it. I haven't tested it out in the Dark Zone. I'd be really interested to see how well it does in the Dark Zone environment, but really, I don't, the agents out there are a lot smarter than the enemy AI, and they're going to throw, electric grenades at you. They're going to throw, or shot grenades. They're going to throw, basically getting shocked by some, by a turret or a flame turret, getting set on fire. And I don't see it as a viable build, but somebody's going to turn it into the meta. It's going to be just an unstoppable build when it comes out, if somebody figures out the right way to do it. And, I'll probably go through my stuff. Somebody asked me why I didn't have a special thing that, heals the shield when I heal. It's because I didn't have, the time to put that stuff together and really think about it when I get down to it. I'm trying to get these videos out just to review this stuff for you guys so you guys can see kind of what's going on and, some of the awesome things that are coming in 1.5. So that's really what I'm going to talk about. That's my time for today. I just wanted to get out there that there are a lot of metas out there that people have been using in 1.5. Everybody's going to be different. There's going to be an unbalance to the Dark Zone for a while until we get the balance right. There's going to be people that are using these one-shot sniper rifles, two-shot shotguns, one-shot shotguns. There's going to be people using their Alpha Bridge set with armor destruction on it. It is going to be an amazing time in the Dark Zone for a lot of PvP people, and it's probably going to be one of the highlights that comes out of 1.5. And I'm not just saying that because, I want you guys to go into the Dark Zone and get destroyed. No, I'm saying that because there is hope out there. Even if you've heard one of these things, that this is going to be the awesome new meta for it. It is not. There's going to be a lot of people building different stuff for the Dark Zone, specifically for the Dark Zone. And I wish, and they didn't show it, there's 150 new gear slots in the stash, so you guys can go ahead and do that. And then, there's going to be a lot of builds and stuff like that. So I would go ahead, start thinking about gear and taking a look at some of these builds and some of the metas that are coming out, because there's going to be a lot of people doing these builds. So anyways, that's my time. Thank you so much for watching this. For all of us here at The Division, I am Mountie Carl. If you thought this video was great and helpful, drop a like on it. I appreciate all the support that I get. Please consider subscribing to our channel, and we'll catch you next time in the Dark Zone. Agent out.